Saturday, December the 9th. We're glad you're with us. As always, I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, joined by Alex B. Smith, Andrew McInnes, and then Dana Lane as well. I don't see Dana, but he is there, trust me. We're going to break down the Saturday card. It's a loaded card as well for a Saturday once again, so let's get right to it. St. Louis, Detroit to begin the card, 51-52 on the rotation. We've got St. Louis about a $1.50 road favorite here, total of 5.5, shaded slightly to the over in this game. I'm going to keep my analysis simple. I'm not going to be involved. So that's as simple as it gets. I'm trying to make a case for St. Louis, but minus 150 road chalk, not the price range I'm comfortable with here. Backing St. Louis, Detroit, give them credit. I mean, they had that we're humiliated, we're embarrassed type of effort. We're going to show people something type of performance the other night against Winnipeg, a nice 5-1 win after they got absolutely routed by Montreal. It was a step-up spot for Detroit, and they played good hockey. Can they do it again? Was that a one-time thing? Are they a one-hit wonder in terms of stepping up, putting forth their best foot? Or is that back down into the struggling tank, I guess you could say, for Detroit today against this St. Louis team? That remains to be seen. Dana Lane does have a bet on this game, Blues and Red Wings. Dana, how are you on this Saturday, and what are you looking at here in the pizza box at Little Caesars in Detroit?
Yeah, I'm doing awesome, man. Hey, look, I get what you're saying about the 145s and the 150s, and honestly, and I mean, if I see a game that I think really is a slam dunk, I don't mind laying that amount. I mean, you get into this thinking, especially with the NHL. I mean, you got to be around somewhere around 58, 59, 60% to cash some, to build that bankroll up. And I mean, there are games along the way that I think are just the games that I absolutely have to jump on. So I don't mind the price. Honestly, this St. Louis Blues team, guys, is the best team in the Western Conference. I mean, that hands down is what I feel. I feel so when I have them in my power rankings, I feel as confident about them as I do any other team in the Western Conference, and maybe almost the National Hockey League, the entire NHL, except for a few teams in the East. They are the best. They are one of the best offensive teams. They put incredible pressure on opposing goaltenders. They don't allow a lot of goals or a lot of shots. So really, you don't have to go in and simplify, or you don't have to overanalyze things. Those statistics are alone are enough to just say, okay, they are really a consistent team, or a team that you'll look at consistently to put money behind. I think this team is about to go on another run. I mean, we watched them the other night against Dallas, and they absolutely indicated that this is going to be potentially a long streak, starting with their 2-game winning streak, and now they have Dallas. They absolutely gave Dallas zero room on the ice. There was no room through the neutral zone. Dallas, they forechecked heavily. They were very confident, which is a big deal against a team that you think has a little bit of speed. I like where St. Louis is. I like where their mindset is right now. I don't think for Detroit that one win erases a 7-game losing streak in any way to me. And I like the fact that they're on the road because this number's doused a little bit. So I'm going to easily take St. Louis today, minus $1.45 over Detroit.
All right, very good. St. Louis, a price that Dana's willing to lay with the Blues on the road, and that was certainly the way I was looking as well in this hockey game. And even though it's not quite the price I'm as comfortable with, but I don't know. I don't trust Detroit for some reason. I know they had that one game against Winnipeg, but that was just one of those games where pride enters the equation. Now you're going to be facing this St. Louis team that's been pretty good all season long. They've had a few little blips here and there, but guess who's scoring again for St. Louis? Braden Shen. And he had that little funk for a while, but it seems like when he scores, St. Louis wins. That's really been the trajectory of that team this season, and he's back on the beam offensively. So that's good news for Mike Yo's team as they head to Detroit today. We got Colorado, Florida, 53-54.
Okay.
All right. Well, looks like we lost Ian for a few minutes at least.
All right, Andrew. Well, you know what I think, my man? This is your time to shine. Colorado, Florida. Pick it up.
Oh, I guess, well, I don't know. Personally, from my opinion, when I look at these two teams, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's simply enough for me. This game screams over. I think Florida at home, especially, they've been trending over, especially at home. But Colorado, they're really proving themselves. I think they're not one of those elite teams. They're not one of those teams that you're going to see on your power rankings by any means. But I think you have players stepping up each and every night, and not only are they scoring goals, but they also seem like a team that's being really easy to get scored on as well. And it's kind of hard when it's hard to win games when you're getting scored on about 3, 4, 5 goals per game, like Colorado has been. So that's kind of one thing to think about. But uh, heading into this game, I think that the only option really for me thinking it is Florida to kind of have to keep it a low scoring game against this Colorado team, because for me the way that they get stomped on and the way that they get walked all over, it's just not really a good thing for the league and for these two teams essentially. But I actually have a couple stats here. I know Ian's just back now, but this is a very, very huge kind of scaled look at. But total has gone over in 7 of Colorado's last 8 games on the road. The total has gone over in 4 of Colorado's last 6 games when playing on the road in Florida. And both these two teams are rolling right now, guys. So I think this should be a goal this game.
Yeah, you have not lived through frustration until you've lived through a Skype call. Basically, that is basically the pimple pimple on the ass of life right now, is trying to operate Skype on a daily basis. But that's neither here nor there. We're back. We're ready to go. Where were we now? Colorado, Florida. That's right. Andrew, you talked about that game. It sounded like just now. What is it called? It's not called. It is Colorado and Florida. There we go.
Yeah, we did Colorado, Florida, and Andrew just talked about it.
Very good. All right, Colorado, Florida. Look, as long as Roberto Luongo's out, we see how hard it is for this team to keep a puck out of their net. That's the bottom line. I mean, James Reimer's not played well. He was not great all that well again the other night against Winnipeg. I actually did put forth a good third period. Winnipeg missed a couple of chances in that game, but still not a goalie I trust in terms of him being able to stop pucks on a routine basis. Colorado, Florida over the total is definitely what I'm looking at in this game. We cashed an over winner. I did on the other night with that Winnipeg, Florida game. Yeah, I'm going to look at the same direction tonight. Colorado, Florida, give me over 6 in that hockey game. Makes some sense to me. Florida's just, and they finally got their offense to go against Winnipeg. Maybe a product of Eric Comrie only making his first start of the NHL season for the Winnipeg Jets the other night. But the Panthers broke out offensively. It's not like Colorado's a defensive juggernaut. Tampa Bay lit them up and just carried the play to them territorially the other night in that game. So I think Florida's going to be able to find the back of the net, and I certainly think Colorado, especially with Landeskog returning from his suspension in the last game against Tampa, and he scored in that game as well against the Lightning. They're going to be able to find the back of the net against Florida and James Reimer and company. So yeah, over 6, definitely a bet I'll be taking there in that game down in sunny Sunrise, Florida. Let's see, what have we got next up? Edmonton taking on Montreal, 55-56. The Habs, Les Habitants, minus 145 home favorite. 5.5 the total, shaded slightly to the over. In this hockey game, Edmonton remains a complete source of frustration on a nightly basis. What are you going to get from this hockey team? Well, what you got basically since Cam Talbot went down is a whole lot of bad goaltending from Laurent Brossoit. I mean, it's been a bad problem for them. Even the other night against Philadelphia, they lose that game. A goal that simply cannot go in right between the wickets, I would believe for the third, or it was either the second or third Philadelphia goal. Just not a good goal, not one you should give up if you're Laurent Brossoit. And that's really been the problem for him. His numbers are downright awful. And as long as he's got to man the cage here for Edmonton for the foreseeable future, it's going to be tough on this team. It really is. I mean, offensively, they're still trying to find their way, find their consistency, and defensively. And obviously, if the goaltending's not there, that's a big-time issue. Edmonton's one of those teams that really needs good, high-level goaltending on a nightly basis. And if they're not getting it, that's a big-time concern moving forward. Maybe even a team like Montreal, who have offensively been pretty decent as of late. I know, again, Detroit was a team they absolutely pummeled offensively. Not a great team by any stretch, but there's no doubt they're scoring a few more goals lately, Montreal, and there's nothing I've seen out of Laurent Brossoit in net for the Oilers to want to trust him. So Montreal, from a side perspective, even though it's not a great price, I'm never loving laying minus 150 with this Montreal team, but from a side perspective, I'd have to lean in that way and lean over the total as well. Over 5.5 in this game. And Montreal's not a team I love backing the over with, but yeah, Edmonton's a dead nuts over team with Brossoit in between the pipes right now. We'll look over the total 5.5. That's probably like the total personally a bit more than the side in that game. And Andrew McInnes wants to talk Habs Oilers as well. We know the Habs are near and dear to his heart. What's he see on the horizon for them tonight? Andrew, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Ian. Well, look, coming into this game, I just have to get a little thing off my chest here about this Edmonton Oilers team. I mean, uh, I know it's a slow start for them, and it hasn't been the team that we really expected out of them. But it's one thing that really makes me mad is that people don't realize how important, especially in hockey. I mean, in most sports in general, most major sports in general, but specifically in hockey, you can't have just a couple guys. In the NBA, you can go out and have a main three. They call it the big three in basketball. You can have those guys, and they carry the load. But here in hockey, look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions. They have their Sidney Crosbys, they have their Evgeny Malkins, they have Phil Kessel, but they have a huge, huge, huge supporting cast. I mean, nobody thought Jake Gensel would step up the way that he did in that playoffs last year, but he was actually a big key for them, and different things like that. And for me right now, this Edmonton team is missing those pieces, and Chiarelli is doing a terrible job. And kind of took the offseason off, probably went to Hawaii, spent time with his family, because he didn't do his job. He did not do his job as general manager, did not go out and find anybody to kind of build those pieces and build that supporting cast around Connor McDavid. Anyone that's throwing shade at Connor McDavid right now is completely in the wrong, in my opinion. He is still that amazing player. He's still that playmaker. He's still that the fastest player on the earth, in my opinion. He's just not having that supporting cast. And no matter what anyone will tell you guys, when you don't have that player around you that you feel like you have that chemistry with, when you're looking to the right of you, looking to the left of you, and you see a different line mate every single night, that can be frustrating. You have to have some time to build chemistry. And, more and more these days, I'm reading into media reports and I'm looking to see what players are saying in the interviews and what coaches are saying. And I'm not sure if you guys saw the video of Todd McClellan freaking out, just absolutely freaking out at practice and screaming. And it might sound like some an easy way to say this, but I do think that means something. Like any coach at all, it shows any sense of being pissed off, any sense of urgency, any sense of passion. Coaches, they really don't like to tell people they're mad, but when they do, they make a point, they make a big statement with it. They like to look casual all the time, guys. Coaches don't want to look like they're all stressed out. So for me coming into this game, I have to expect some kind of change. I have to expect some kind of spark of the offense. I've been saying this since last year in the playoffs that Edmonton would have been in the Stanley Cup Finals if they had a better decor, if they had a better decor that could move the puck out of the defensive end a lot faster. I mean, when you've got a young decor and you've got guys that think they can handle the puck, they hold on for it for way too long. They get way too fancy, way too comfortable, and all of a sudden someone picks their pocket and the puck's in the back of the net in their own end. I mean, you've got guys like Draisaitl and McDavid where you should just be getting the puck up to them, getting it off your stick as fast as you can. But for some reason, these defensemen for the Edmonton just love just holding the puck right in front of the net. Just, hey, look, it's in my hand. Might as well keep it. I've got McDavid up there asking for it, but I'll hold it in my hand. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not really a fan of that. And for me, this Montreal Canadiens team is kind of settling into their own. I mentioned on our last show, this is kind of the time of year where people before Christmas right now are trying to identify themselves, trying to create their identities for their team, tell the rest of the league, tell their media who they want to be this year, who they are. And I think Montreal Canadiens are kind of starting to make that transition. And I was kind of joking around all year when the Habs were having the bad start that they used to have really good starts and then do terrible for the rest of the year. So maybe it'll be hopefully a reverse role where they had a really good start or a terrible start, and hopefully they'll do better now. So they're kind of coming into their own a little bit. Defensively, they're still allowing some goals against them, but I do like the way they're playing. I do like the way Carey Price is being that backbone for them once more. And when you have Carey Price back there, you feel more confident on offense. You're putting up goals, and like I said, I like teams that have depth. I like teams where you don't know every night who's going to score. You can't predict that. I like teams you can really see. It could be three lines. Anyone can put that puck in the back of the net. We've got Jonathan Drouin back tonight. So many articles you're seeing coming out last night and this morning saying, what does Drouin bring to the lineup? What does he bring back? I mean, that's a joke. We all know what he brings to the lineup. He's going to be a playmaker. He's going to help things out on the power play. He's going to make decisions and make his teammates around him better. For me, this is an easy pick with the Montreal Canadiens. I saw someone on Twitter asking us to kind of look a little more at the first periods and the three-way lines and stuff like that for hockey. So for me, I would look for the Habs on the -1 line in this one. I do think they could win the puck line, but Edmonton's kind of, I think they will kind of stay in the game. It won't be obviously a blowout by any means, in my opinion. I definitely lean the over as well, and it's really funny because as good as a goalie Carey Price is, I just think that I'm still not really the biggest fan of this Montreal Canadiens defense, and the way that their style is right now, they actually have kind of made that reputation of a team that likes to push the tempo and not spend too much time in the neutral zone, dumping the puck deep. So they do sometimes allow way too many odd man rushes and breakaways against Carey Price, and sometimes he's going to get scored on. So for me, this should be an exciting game to watch, guys. Montreal is the play, in my opinion.
All right, Montreal for Andrew, and I'm certainly leaning to that side, like the over a bit more, though at 5.5, 3-0 to the over for Edmonton. Last 3 games since Laurent Brossoit has manned the net, so tells you all you need to know there about how poor he's been. The record, what is the record? 1-6 for Brossoit this season, which is downright 1-7 actually. There was an overtime loss in there. 1-7 for Brossoit this season in 8 starts. Just dreadful record there. 3.71 goals against, 8.77 save percentage. Oh, that's horrific. That's real bad. And Edmonton's going to be hurting, I think, in terms of the goals against until they get Cam Talbot back in net. Or maybe they got to give Nick Ellis a shot at this point. I know he's just a guy with no NHL experience, but I think, you're going to have to consider it at some point, maybe giving him a start if Brossoit's problems continue for Edmonton. We got Winnipeg, Tampa, 57-58. Tampa Bay, -175, home favorite. No bargain as usual with Tampa at home. Total 6 pretty much across the board. And, Tampa Bay just keeps on rolling. What can you say? Another nice win the other night against Colorado. What was it? 5-2 was the score of that hockey game. Tampa Bay, ever since they changed these lines, and Nemesnikov on the top line, we talked about this on Thursday's show, slid Kucherov down to the second line, just trying to shake up the Stamkos-Kucherov combination, balance the lines out, provide more scoring, spread it out more across the top 6 forwards. It's worked for Tampa. They put up 5 against San Jose, 6 goals the next game against the Islanders, and then another 5 spot against Colorado in 3 games since John Cooper made those line changes. So it's working for this Tampa Bay team offensively. Winnipeg is starting to become concerning to me, the way they're playing on the road. We know this team has been absolutely fantastic at the MTS Center in Winnipeg, one of the best home records in the NHL, but they've been average at best on the road, and that's starting to become a little bit of a pattern. I thought this had a chance for them to get this road record back on track here. Detroit, winnable game. They lose that one 5-1, run into a buzzsaw there with the Red Wings in a step-up spot after getting embarrassed. And then Florida the other night, winnable hockey game again with no Roberto Luongo, but not good enough on the penalty kill. Defensively, some breakdowns. A couple of bad bounces maybe too for Winnipeg in that loss to Florida, but still they didn't play well enough to win that hockey game, and they just got to up their level of execution in certain areas, defensively pay more attention, be more mindful without the puck, and just generally be a little bit more sound in all areas of the game on the road as they are at home. And even offensively, this team not quite been as good on the road as they've been at home. So, it's just very, very tough right now to make a case to bet against the Tampa Bay Lightning on home ice. What's their record right now at home? It's fantastic. One of the best, another team with one of the best home records in the league, 12-3. The Tampa Bay Lightning on home ice this season at St. Pete. So tough ask to want to go against Tampa Bay here. So I know it's a good price with Winnipeg, but they've had some struggles on the road. I would expect that Connor Hellebuck's in net for Winnipeg tonight. Paul Maurice just said it was a good spot to put Eric Comrie in, get his feet wet, get him a start under his belt the other night against Florida. Obviously, it didn't work out. They lost that game. So I would expect Paul Maurice to go back to Connor Hellebuck tonight in between the pipes. But, tough again to go against Tampa. That's a juicy price on a good Winnipeg team, but it's a Winnipeg team that's been not showing me enough on the road to want to back them here against one of the best teams in the NHL with one of the best home records in the NHL. Over the total, a slight lean there, but not in love with this one as much as I was the Tampa over the other night or the Winnipeg, Florida over the other night. Andrew McInnes wants to talk Jets Lightning. Andrew, have at it.
I actually don't think I had that game, Ian, but I'll certainly talk about it if you'd like me to.
I did not.
I'm looking at
you
the
know
over
who
in that
did?
game.
Oh, you know what?
I did have a small lean on the over, so I will take that one. I mean, like you said, you can't really think twice about the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. Tampa Bay's been a team right now that I've been kind of shaky with. I've been kind of wondering what I really could think about them because every time I want to take them puck line, the odds just aren't even that good. I mean, money line or puck line, we haven't really been getting too much out of them as far as the lines go and the odds go. So they're kind of shaky there. Winnipeg, I think right now in this spot, especially after the beatdown they took against Detroit a couple games back, I think their focus right now and their power play is improving every single game. So for me, the easy lane is the over.
All right, Alex B. Smith definitely wants to talk about Winnipeg, Florida, because this game's on his list. Alex B. Smith, Winnipeg, Florida, or Winnipeg, Tampa, I should say. What are you looking at?
Well, yeah, I was on Winnipeg against Florida the other night, and it was just absolutely ridiculous how Winnipeg, their power play was just completely sloppy. They took way too many passes instead of shots. That's something that you see happen a lot with teams that have a ton of talent, with their power play. They have a great power play unit, as far as talent goes, but they try to do too much. You have to simplify power plays. You have to get traffic in front and get quality shots. Standing around by the blue line and taking, 60-foot shots is not going to work every single night, especially if you don't have any traffic in front. So I was really upset about it, obviously, because I had the Jets. But like I said, they struggle. Their home road dichotomy is just so different right now. So it's hard to look at them. If they couldn't beat Florida, how on earth are they going to hang around with an offense and a super balanced team like Tampa Bay here? So like I said, the only way I would look at it would be the over. The prices are a bit high. I think we're going to see goals going both ways. Even if Hellebuck's in net, I think we're still going to see, Tampa Bay is going to find a way to get usually about 3 or 4 goals a night. So the over is what I look at here. But Winnipeg, like I said, it's not so much. I think if they find a way to simplify their power play, at least on the road, they should be able to improve that record. And then, we'll be talking about them, like I said, with the St. Louis's of the world as far as being, one of the tougher teams in the Western Conference.
All right, and next game up, 59-60, Toronto-Pittsburgh. One of the better games on the slate, two of the better teams in the East. We've got Pittsburgh -120 to -125. Home favorite, the total 6 shaded to the over. That is a lower price than we're used to seeing Pittsburgh on home ice. That is for sure. Which shows you there's some respect being paid for this Toronto Maple Leafs team and the run they've put together. But a run that, it's been good. They've played pretty good hockey. They played better defensively. There's no question. But a large part of that is their goaltender. I mean, Frederik Andersen, just night in, night out, has given this team very, very good goaltending, excellent goaltending. Very good's actually not strong enough to say how good he's been. He's been terrific for the Leafs. Another great performance the other night in a shootout win against the Calgary Flames. They're doing enough offensively to get by. They put up a lot of goals on the road trip. Come back, they wrapped it up against Vancouver, got held to 1 goal and a very good performance by Markstrom in that game. Calgary, the shootout win, 2-1. So offensively, they've only scored 3 goals the last 2 games, but they got a chance to get things going here against the Pittsburgh Penguins in this game. You've seen a little bit more chink in the armor for Tristan Jarry, the Pittsburgh goalie, the last couple of games. We talked about how he was just rolling along his first 4 starts. Well, before we got too carried away, who are you playing? You play Buffalo, 2 games there, 1 goal in those 2 games allowed. So hold on now with the Tristan Jarry parade. And now it's been a little bit more of a bumpy road for him. The last 2 games, the 4-3 Ranger loss, didn't play great in that game. New York Islanders game, they won that game 4-3 in overtime, but again, 2-goal lead late in that game. Tristan Jarry, a couple of late goals allowed to the New York Islanders to tie that game. So Tristan Jarry, he's still got some talent, this guy, but we're seeing as the competition and the better offensive teams have come knocking on Pittsburgh's door, he's not quite been as sharp. We'll see how he's tested here tonight by this Toronto team, because he likely is going to get tested to a certain degree. Total sitting at 6 in this game. It's tough. This is one of those games where I could actually see the total going either way. I mean, Toronto, to me, with Frederik Andersen playing the way he is, it's not an easy team to bet over the total these days. Even in theory, Toronto, one of the teams that offensively can come at you in waves, but it's not a situation where it's easy to bet an over with Frederik Andersen in the zone like he is right now. And it's worth noting the under is 4-1-1 last 6 meetings as well between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's only been 1 over, and that was the very most recent meeting in April, right at the end of the season, the game where Toronto clinched their playoff spot last year. Now they won 5-3 against Pittsburgh. Other than that, you've had a lot of 2-1, 4-1, 3-2, 4-0 games. So, and if Frederik Andersen plays well, you might have a tough time getting that game up and over the total tonight between the Leafs and Penguins. And from a pricing perspective, I think there's value on Pittsburgh in this hockey game. Believe it or not, it's a lower price than they're used to laying at home. I'd probably have to lean in that direction. With all due respect to what Toronto's done and the way Anderson's playing, you have to keep in mind Anderson's playing a pretty good offense here tonight too. So he's going to be tested a bit more, even though he's been fantastic. So I think just from a price perspective, you don't get Pittsburgh minus 120 to 25 very often on home ice. It's a little value there toward the Penguins, in my opinion. If they get the win, it wouldn't surprise me. Although the Justin Schultz injury is a big deal for Pittsburgh, we have to point that out. He's out indefinitely, lower body injury. Good puck mover, good offensive-minded defenseman for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. They obviously coped without him well enough to beat the Islanders the other night, 4-3, first game without him. But it's definitely an injury that I'd be concerned about moving forward. It's a guy that they'll miss for sure on the back end. We got Islanders Boston 61-62 next game on the rotation. New York Island or Boston minus 145 to minus 150 is a home favorite. Total 6 shaded to the under. It's a New York Islanders game, guys. You know what to do. You know what I'm going to do because I've been doing it for weeks now. Over the total, we're going to just keep going with that. Why not? I mean, it just keeps on cashing at this point in time. We're going to do it again. We know Boston's perked up offensively too. Look what they did against Arizona. How about David Backes joining the party? First 2 goals of the season for him against the Arizona Coyotes, and in the same damn period of that hockey game too, as Boston lays waste pretty much to the Arizona Coyotes in that game. They got their power play going, which is good to see, and I like to see that again in this game, going into this game, because the Islanders' penalty kill is not very good at all. So to see Boston finally get some power play goals, that's a good thing in my mind. And the Islanders, to me, breakdowns defensively, penalty killing's not been great. The goaltending from Greiss and Halak just has not been consistent enough by either guy. I mean, both guys are guilty of it, Thomas Greiss and Yaroslav Halak, in terms of their goaltending not really being up to snuff. When you look at it, the Matt Hunwick overtime goal that Pittsburgh scored against the Islanders the other night, I mean, Yaroslav Halak was fast asleep. You got to see a puck just slithering by you in between your pads and in the net. I mean, just a tough goal to give up. Just one of many examples of how the Islanders' goaltending just hasn't been great. So we're not going to try to fix the formula here by any stretch. We're going to stick with what's been working for me. We're going to go Islanders Boston over 6 tonight in that game. Islanders and Bruins. We've got Alex involved in this game as well as Dana Lane. So let's get Dana's thoughts. He's a Bruin fan as well. Good win for them against Arizona. Can they do it again tonight against this Islanders team, which is giving them up in bunches, goals that is. Islanders Boston, Dana, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, good win for the Bruins against Arizona the other night, but let's keep in mind it still is Arizona, but they did limit them to a goal. I love how Boston is starting to play defensively, and what we've talked about before is this is what handicapping 101 is. You have to identify trends, and you have to identify them before bookmakers identify them to be able to get the best of the number. So what I like is I think there's a certain defensive trend that I like with the Boston Bruins, and I love how they are playing in front of Tuukka Rask. And oh, by the way, I love how Tuukka Rask is playing as well. The other night, um, defensively, the Bruins allowed only 21 shots on net. And I understand, again, take it with a grain of salt because we're talking about the Arizona Coyotes. But certainly, teams can fall asleep against those teams as well. So I really want to see a team do what they're supposed to do against the bad teams. And again, this is almost like the second year in a row I'm saying this. People are trying to shove dirt on Zdeno Chara the same way they're trying to shove dirt on Alexander Ovechkin, and he still continues to be the best defenseman on that team. And not only is he the best defenseman on his team, but on his defensive partner on the other side, Charlie McAvoy gets to play with him every single night and learn from him. And oh, by the way, Brandon Carlo gets to learn from him as well, playing alongside Torrey Krug. So I anticipate them getting stronger defensively. Like last year, I thought that they were very underrated defensively. There was a ton of injuries, as there has been this year as well. But hey, look, this could be a situation where they beat New York, 4-1, or gets gets close to that 6. I don't love 6s. You guys know I don't love 6s. I certainly don't love 6.5s. Had the over in the Vegas game last night and had to sweat that for 2.5 hours. But I just love where Boston is defensively. This is the last game for the New York Islanders on their road trip, and I understand, when you're on the East Coast, it's a tremendous advantage when you're traveling. So it's not much of a road trip for sure. But I'm sure New York, mentally is trying to get home. They haven't had a very good road trip, and I can see them kind of sleepwalking their way through this one. Going back to Rask real quick, you know, uh, going that Hudobin thing was the best thing to ever happen to Rask. I mean, Hudobin finally the Boston media were saying, well, maybe Hudobin's the guy here, and I remember Tim Thomas and I remember Tuukka Rask and I remember what Rask did when Tim Thomas retook that job. You know what? He just put his head down and played well, and eventually regained that job. I guess going to the or not going to the White House had something to do with it, but the fact of the matter is, I love where this guy's head is, and when he's up against the wall and when he's being questioned, I always feel like you get the best out of Tuca. This is a Vezina Trophy winning goaltender. Let's not forget that. So, Ian, I agree with most of everything you said. I just can't pull the trigger knowing that the Bruins are playing their best defensive hockey of the year, and I hope that the Islanders. I guess we're crossing our fingers that the Islanders do their part, but I am going under the 6 in this one.
Yeah, doing their part means fix this pathetic penalty kill, and they actually made a point of it in
Well,
practice yesterday to try to fix this
yeah.
Doug Weight. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they've
That's a
put
good
in all
point.
kinds of time and effort to get this
Right.
awful,
Right.
horrific penalty kill corrected. So if you're going to see anything in terms of a good penalty kill from the Islanders, maybe finally it's tonight. We'll see. The bottom line is I've had how many over winners with the Islanders lately? 5, 6 during this stretch. I'm going to ride it one more time. If I lose, okay, I can live with that. I've still got plus units in my back pocket riding this over trend with the Islanders lately. So, but we'll see. Dana's on the under, I'm on the over, and Alex B. Smith is also involved in this game. So we'll see if it's a side or a total. I already know actually, but Alex B. Smith, Islanders, Bruins. What you got?
When I looked at this game yesterday, I was looking at the side because I was looking at with the Bruins. Everything that Dana said is spot on. They've won 7 of the last 10. They're starting to get things together defensively. Everyone's healthy now. That was the whole thing we kept saying at the beginning of the year. Right, this Boston team, they're going to be good once they get healthy. Now that everybody is seemingly back on track, this is a team that we could see, really make a strong run, for quite some time now. But with that being said, the Islanders, Johnny Boychuk is questionable. They've gone 10-1-1 over the last 12. It's at the end of a road trip. I think it's going to be a case where, yeah, the Islanders may only get 2 or 3 goals, but I think they're going to be tired enough to where we can see Boston, score maybe 4 or 5. So I like the over here. I think we're going to at least see some goals one way or the other, and I can see where Boston would probably run away with this game. So I would probably maybe combine a small parlay of Boston and the over here, but the over is the one thing that I've already played at 6. I think we're going to at least see that one more time, and even if Boston is able to shut down the Islanders, I think they should be able to at least get some goals of their own.
I mean, the Islanders' penalty kill has given up 10 power play goals in the last 6 games. That is absolutely atrocious. I mean, that's horrible. I mean, that's as bad as it gets in terms of being able to kill off a damn penalty. He's like, we just need one kill, Doug Weight says. Well, we'll see if they do tonight. How about not taking any penalties? Maybe that's the best way to improve your penalty kill right there. How about that there? Chew on that one there, Islanders. So we'll see if they can stay out of the box, and if they do take a penalty, we'll see if they can kill one off tonight against this Boston team. But I kind of agree from a side perspective. The Bruins have some momentum right now. And a great point by Dana about Anton Hudobin pushing Tuukka Rask as hard as he did is what got Tuukka Rask back on the beam, has got him playing some better hockey as of late. Just needed to be pushed, have his job security threatened a little bit. And now we're seeing Tuukka Rask respond with better performances. We're going to go quickly over these next 3 games. There's no lines. We've got Dana and Alex have a radio commitment to do in a short amount of time. I've got a college basketball show 11 a.m. here on SBR, so we're going to go through these next games very, very quickly. Jersey Rangers losing in Washington last night against the Washington Capitals. Both of these teams actually on back-to-back games. Jersey also played last night, a 5-3 loss in Columbus, so both of these teams off a loss, playing second night of back-to-back games. For those that are wondering, we've got Jersey at 4-2 on the second night of back-to-backs this season. Rangers at 1-1. So those are the numbers there for those of you into the back-to-back situation trends. It's a game I'll be staying away from. no real strong opinion there. We've got Arizona, Columbus, 65-66 on the rotation. No line here as well. Arizona to me still impossible to want to back this team. I know we could see a Korpisalo sighting in net for Columbus tonight. It was Bobrovsky last night in the win against New Jersey, so there is a good chance we see the backup who for Columbus is Joonas Korpisalo, so we could see him in net. I don't know if it's going to matter all that much. From a Arizona perspective, I fully anticipate, I believe it actually may have already been confirmed as well, that we are going to see Antti Raanta tonight. He's likely to be in net for the Arizona Coyotes, returning in between the pipes after being out due to injury. So that's a boost for Arizona. He's still the best goalie they've got, but with them struggling still, I mean, we're still talking about, even though he's a better goalie, he's been out for a while. You're going to be rusty that first start. That's a little bit of a concern there. So I'm not going to make a case for Arizona. I'll sit back, see how Raanta plays. First start back from injury, but definitely going to be staying away from that game. It's probably going to be priced way too high on Columbus, you would expect, but I'm not in love with taking a shot with the dog. Vegas, Dallas, 67-68. How about the Knights, huh? Keep trying to bet against this team. You keep pounding your head against the wall. That's really what it's turning into right now. And who says this team can't win on the road? They're starting to finally string some road W's together. The Vegas Golden Knights shootout win last night against Nashville. Remember, they beat Anaheim on the road recently as well. They're still a work in progress on the road, but playing better away from home. That's a good thing. This is going to be an interesting game because you've got the Dallas Stars here in this game. They had a bad loss earlier this week against the Nashville Predators. It was a home loss, and Nashville just took it right to Dallas in that hockey game. In Dallas, too, where Dallas has played very, very well this season. So we'll see if Dallas can respond here tonight against this Vegas team. Vegas on the second night of back-to-backs after that big win against Nashville. A little bit of a concern, the spot here for them. Subban was in net, and Subban was very good again. This guy's gaining confidence in net. Great performance against Anaheim. Was very good last night, especially in the shootout, to preserve that win against Nashville. But will we see him on the second night of back-to-backs? I'm not so sure. We could see Maxime Lagacé in net for the Golden Knights. So again, this is one of those games you're going to want to check on goaltending assignments for it as they take on this Dallas Stars team. A little bit of a tough spot. As much as I'm impressed with what this Vegas Golden Knights team has done, it's a little bit of a tricky spot for them facing this Dallas team. Dallas off back-to-back losses to St. Louis and Nashville, probably chomping at the bit to get back on track. So not a game I'm going to get involved with, but it's a better spot, obviously, for the home team here, the Stars. What's Andrew looking at with Vegas Dallas tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Also, just going to head back. I also had a piece of that Columbus, Arizona game, and just wanted to mention, I understand there's no odds out, and sometimes it definitely is tough when you don't have the odds to really envision what you're really working with, especially with NHL. I mean, Dana, you mentioned you don't really have a problem laying those numbers, 150, 155 sometimes. And I fully agree sometimes you just want to pick a game. You want to pick a winner, not deal with any puck lines, not deal with anything too fancy, just stick with the winner. And, I'm not really sure exactly what the odds are going to be, but it doesn't matter to me if Sergei Bobrovsky gets the night off tonight. It really doesn't matter to me. I've been picking my spots when I bet against Arizona, bet with Arizona. They've been a very, very sketchy team for me. They're so up and down. You really just don't know what you're going to get from them at any point. You don't know what you can expect on a nightly basis from them. With Antti Raanta in nets tonight, he's one of those goalies. I think tonight he's going to come out and Columbus is going to fire way too many shots at him. He's going to be rattled. He's not going to be comfortable in there. And the defense, of course, is going to let him down big time. I mean, looking at a guy like Raanta, I honestly think he wouldn't be too terrible of a goalie if he played on a team, like the Blues or like even the Blackhawks, that a team that could actually have a team in front of them to kind of show for it or something like that. But with the way this Columbus team is looking for me right now, they look like a unit. They look like a team that's playing with chemistry, that has their, for lack of better terms, their shit together a lot more than Arizona does. And yesterday in the game, they were down 2-0 early on against New Jersey in the first period. And a lot of people say to me, yeah, hockey, it's easy to bet on. You just usually the team that scores first wins the game. Well, first of all, that's not true whatsoever. And Columbus really proved it there. They go down 2-0 at a terrible first period. They come back and they really showed everybody how a comeback is made and how to come out and have a completely different period than your first period. So for me, that means a lot to me. That's huge. That just goes to show they went into the locker room They talked things over, took a deep breath, and came out a brand new team. And for me, that's very impressive. And I think these are just two teams that are on different sides of the spectrum right now. They're going in way different directions. And, guys, I would look at the puck line in this one. I think that Columbus is going to take care of business. Does not bother me whatsoever that they are on a back-to-back. Just looking at these last two games, the couple of games for Arizona, it's just been sporadic. I mean, 6-1 loss versus Boston, 3-2 loss versus Vegas, and then all of a sudden a 5-0 win versus the Devils. Stuff like that. They're so hard to predict. You don't know what you can get from them on a nightly basis. But I do know what I can get from Columbus on a nightly basis. And back to back or not, does not bother me. I'm liking Columbus tonight in this one. And now heading over to the Dallas game. Look, the thing is with Dallas right now is, like I said in the last one, everybody and their grandma and their dog were all loving Dallas before the season started. I mean, they thought that it was amazing. That Dallas was going to be this team that's going to go right to the cup. They're going to go in the playoffs. I mean, look at the goaltender that they have. Look at the defense they have, and now all of a sudden they've got offense. And wow, they also, were able to get all these star players in the offseason. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, Radulov, sure, he was a good addition, but he hasn't really been the all-star that he was for the Canadians. I think that's no secret. And look, Las Vegas, they played a good game last night. I think that Malcolm Subban definitely stole one. I think that's no secret. I think Nashville was probably the better team throughout, maybe the second half of the game anyway. But I think with a little bit of a goaltender change up in this one, the over is the answer. I'm going to continue to expect Dallas to fly the total on the over, strictly because this is who they are. This is who they're supposed to be, and they just didn't show it at the start of the year. I mean, you talk about trends being set and following trends and looking at stats and this and that, but this is one of those games, guys, to be quite honest with you, but I don't even really want to look at these stats. I mean, I just want to say, from what I know, from following the league every single day, from seeing these two teams, Vegas on a back-to-back, I don't think Subban's in nets tonight. He's played pretty well, but for me, this one skyrockets over the total. Dallas has to bounce back after that kind of bummy performance against Nashville, actually, in their last game or last couple games. So for me, this is an overplay.
Yeah, they've been just an over machine, the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, they've sort of embraced that. We've got speed, we've on all four lines, and Gerard Gallant sort of let them go with it. And that's the way they're playing on a nightly basis. Another over for them last night against Nashville. Got to 7 goals. So, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Vegas right now is a heavy trending over team, especially on the road. I think 5-0-1 last 6 road games over the total for the Vegas Golden Knights. So we'll see if that trend continues tonight. I definitely would lean over in that game. We'll see again, though, where the number comes out. Ottawa, San Jose, we're going to go really rapid fire here. 69-70. San Jose minus 165 home favorite, total 5.5 shaded to the under. I'm going to be quick. I'm leaning Ottawa. I want to make a case for Ottawa here. I think it's a tough spot. San Jose with that rally from the death win against Carolina. Fell behind big early, came back to win in overtime. It could be a little bit of a flat spot here, and Ottawa desperate for a win, but doesn't mean desperation is going to equal a win. They're struggling mightily offensively. I really like the price on Ottawa. I just don't know if I can trust them enough to pull the trigger, but I'm at least leaning in that direction. Alex B. Smith, Ottawa, San Jose, one of your games on the card. What are you looking at?
Yeah, Ottawa's been atrocious since the Sweden trip. They've lost 10 of their last 11 games. Like you said, this is a tough spot. San Jose had to rally back against Carolina, another bad team struggling on the West Coast in their West Coast trip. So I like Ottawa. I'm gonna look at them in the first period. I think they should be able to give a solid effort the first 20 minutes and see them hang around. But San Jose is they find a way to really buckle it down at home. And my original thought was looking at San Jose on the puck line, but I think Ottawa will have enough in the first 20 minutes where they should be able to get skate back into the locker room with the lead. So I'll look at the Senators first period.
All right, first period, Ottawa bet for Alex B. Smith in that one. Vancouver, Calgary, 71-72. We got Calgary laying a hefty price at home, minus 160 to minus 165. The total 5.5 shaded to the over in this hockey game. It's a weird schedule for Calgary. They played that odd game or those 2 games against Toronto and Montreal, back-to-back nights on the road. Now you're coming back home facing this Vancouver team. I smell a live dog here. I mean, this Vancouver team, the underdog in the Vancouver games, has been terrific. It's not like this team's playing horrendous hockey by any stretch of the imagination. They have that gutsy, gritty effort night in, night out for Travis Green's team. I'm more than willing to take a stab with them in this plus 140, plus 150 range. You can get plus 155 on Vancouver at bookmaker Chris. Sign me up for that. Vancouver plus 155. It's just overpriced, and Calgary not playing well enough right now, not scoring goals well enough to trust them laying this kind of number. So I'm on the Vancouver side. Dana Lane involved in the Flames and Canucks game as well. Dana, what are you looking at here in this game?
Yeah, the apocalypse is upon us because I'm certainly going to the over tonight in this. I mean, you know how I feel about betting overs. I can't stand watching games where I'm losing for 2.5 hours, but that's just a personal thing. Look, hey, the Flames traveled home from Montreal. They had a nice day off yesterday. They're very comfortable, and I think sometimes comfortable leads to mistakes. So the next thing I look at is, do I have two power play units that I think can help me out during the course of a game to push this game over? In this case, I certainly do think so. These are two power play units that are at least above average in the National Hockey League. The loss of Bo Horvat is huge, but this is going to be their second game without him. So I think that they will be much better than the first time that they played without him putting up one goal against Philadelphia, and obviously Matthew Tkachuk comes back from his 1-game suspension, so he should be all over the ice as well. I really like this game to go over. I don't like a lot of overs, but I certainly do in this case.
All right, Vancouver, Calgary over 5.5 in this hockey game for Dana Lane. I will say this: Vancouver, the last time they went on the road on a long road trip, they were an over machine on that road trip. So seems like you get them away from home, they're a little bit more of an open it up, a little bit, I don't know, better, worse defensively, I guess you could say as well. I mean, we'll see if that trend continues, but I know they were flying over the total in that recent road trip. They went back home and they played 3 consecutive unders against Toronto, Carolina, and Philadelphia at home. And now they're back on the road. We'll see if the total trends in the other direction once again on the road, like it did the last time the Canucks had a lengthy road trip out east earlier this season. We'll wrap it up 73-74. Carolina, Los Angeles to end the card. This Saturday is slate minus 140 for LA is home chalk. Total 5.5 shaded to the under. Tough loss for Carolina the other night. Man, you got out to a 4-1 lead. Things looking good. You got San Jose and that dreadful first home game off a long road trip spot where they've completely stumbled and choked over the years, San Jose, and Carolina pulls an old Denny Green. You let him off the hook. That's exactly what you did there in that hockey game. You let him off the hook. San Jose comes back and you win that game 5-4. A crushing loss for Carolina. We'll see if they could pick themselves up off the mat for this game at Staples against this surging LA Kings team. What else can you say? Not their finest performance, not a Picasso by any stretch against Ottawa the other night, but a win is a win is a win. They got the job done in the end with Darcy Kemper in net that night for the Kings, so they're just rolling right now. And again, when a team's on this kind of win streak, I either bet the team on the win streak or I leave it alone. So it's an LA or pass game for me from a side perspective. Probably lean under the total as well, 5.5. I mean, I'm always interested in LA under at 5.5. That's more of the same here. Alex B. Smith wants to talk Carolina, LA tonight. Kakalaki and the Kings. What are you looking at, Alex?
Yeah, I'm sure this Carolina team cannot wait to get back home. I mean, they have been absolutely brutal on this trip, and they've lost 5 of the last 6 now on the road after that letdown loss against San Jose. You look at LA, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to be even close to this game because the price is going to be really high, 165, 170. I saw it on the overnights. Now it's come crashing down. I'm guessing people are betting on Carolina because of the fact that they expect a bounce back from the bad loss to San Jose, or they're just trying to gauge whether or not this Kings streak is going to come to an end. I don't think that's going to happen right now. So minus 140 everywhere. I see it minus $1.35 at some shops too. So I'm going to be on the Kings tonight for sure.
Yeah, playing great hockey, playing good defensively. The goaltending's been good. They're scoring now. I mean, all of a sudden, you look at some of these guys putting pucks in the net. Marian Gabourik's back, and he's even contributed a little bit. Tyler Toffoli, Nick Shore, Tanner Pearson. Kopitar's had the bounce back season of that he was definitely hoping for. Nothing went right for him last year. He's been so much better. Iafallo, I think, has got a lot of potential up front as well for this Kings team. So all of a sudden, you got a little offensive uptick for them, and that's all they need. A little bit of offense, and they can be capable. For the longest time, scoring goals has been their big issue. But they're starting to find some offense lately, and it's a big catalyst as to why they've played great hockey. And hopefully we've got some great best bets on the horizon to wrap up the show on this Saturday card. We've updated the record, and it's 104 and 100 for the season. We're 4 games above 500 with best bets. We've had a lot of 2-2s lately with the best bets. A lot of Splitsville with the best bets, but that's okay. 2-2 is fine. You can live with 2-2. You don't lose money. You maybe lose, 0.1 of a unit, 0.2, depending on what the juice is. So it's not the end of the world. We'll see what we can do on this Saturday card. Let's go around the horn. Start with Andrew McInnes. Your best bet for this Saturday card.
Ian, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to say that I'm not satisfied with my last best bet. By no means is it acceptable whatsoever. I had the over in the St. Louis game, and 3-0 is just not acceptable. And I completely hold myself to that. I expect to hit every best bet I come out with, and I'm sure you guys all feel the same way. I mean, we come out here with these shows, but the fact is, people are waiting for this segment here, the end of the show, and they want to see some winners. So I completely own up to that, and I don't really like to see what happened to me in my last best bet. But this is one that I'm really sure of. This is one I really like, and I haven't really bet on my favorite team too often on this show with you guys. Maybe a little bit on the totals. I haven't really mentioned them too much, but I'm going back to my Montreal Canadiens, guys. I'm not going to think twice about this one. They're getting Drouin back. Price is playing rock solid for them right now. I've never seen the depth like this Canadiens team is having right now, almost in 2 years. Everybody is scoring. They're finding a way to put the puck in the back of the net. Their PK is looking good. Their power play is finally coming together, which is just a rare sign. I mean, they're finally stringing some life together. And let's face it, they're looking like a team right now that can actually score some goals. Plain and simple. Before, they were averaging one of the lowest amount in the league, and then had to win those 2-1 games, 3-1 games. And over on the Edmonton side, with Brossoit and nets, and they're missing Cam Talbot big time right now. They're trying to find someone to step up for them right now, because it hasn't been their key guys, it hasn't been their top guys right now, and I don't expect anything to happen tonight that will change my mind and make me not like this Montreal Canadiens team right now. I'm looking at it right now. You get the best money line at 5 dimes at minus 135, and you know what? I'm not gonna take any gambles on the puck line. I'm just gonna go with the money line in this one. Just ride with my Habs. I think this is the game for them. Expect a solid performance against this Oilers team.
All right, Montreal. That actually we got to tax you a little bit on that. It's minus 150 now, pretty much across the board. So it's a little higher now. It's been a little movement toward Montreal, but we'll go with it. Montreal minus 150. Best bet for Andrew. Let's go to Dana Lane. Best bet for Saturday.
Ian, 22-5, and that is the amount of scoring for the St. Louis Blues defenseman versus the Detroit Red Wings defenseman. At this point, the St. Louis Blues are my pick in the Western Conference. There's no reason I should be afraid to lay $1.45, because even if I lose, you got to win 2 out of 3 to make money anyway with a loss. So I don't have a problem laying $1.45. They're much better than Detroit, so that's easily my best bet today.
All right, St. Louis with confidence from Dana Lane, his best bet. We got Alex B. Smith, best bet for you today.
Yeah, I'm going back over to the East Coast with Boston and the Islanders. Like I said, Islanders 10-1-1 to the over. They're struggling on the penalty kill. They're struggling defensively. And if they don't have Johnny Boychuk, that's going to be even more of a hindrance on the back end there. So I'm looking at the over 6. I got it plus 100. I think we're going to see at least a fair amount of scoring, especially from a Boston team that's been playing really well. So I'm going with the over with the Islanders and the Bruins tonight.
All right, over 6 with the Bruins and the Islanders for Alex B. Smith. And I'm going to wrap it up with Colorado, Florida over the number. It's James Reimer, 10-5 to the over in his last 15 starts, and I believe that's dating back to last season as well. This is just not a goalie I have confidence in right now at this point in time. I think Colorado with Landeskog back better offensively. They had chances against Tampa the other night, but not only able to score 2. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight against this Florida team, which we saw gives up goals and punches with someone other than Bobby Lou back there. So let's go Colorado, Florida, over 6. You can get plus 100 with that. I'm going to go with that. We got 6 under, minus 120 at Chris, which means you can get over 6 plus 100 at Chris. Bookmaker/Chris, we'll go with that for Colorado, Florida over the total. That's going to wrap up the show. Our Saturday show is done. Thanks for tuning in. Check out sportsbookreview.com every day. Live odds, free picks, free articles. Check out the links below this video for all of SBR's social media platforms, and give the show a thumbs up if you liked it. I will be back in exactly 1 hour with the college basketball closing line show. Me and the big man on campus, Jeff Nadu, will be hosting that. Alex and Dana have some radio stuff to do, so they'll be looking forward to that in Vegas. It's a busy day. Enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy the hockey. For Andrew, for Alex, for Dana, for myself. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the hockey. Best of luck. We'll be back on Tuesday with another edition of the Ice Guys.